Good morning. This is the second top tips video. If you missed the top 10, there's a link to the first video at the top and in the text below. If you've never been to the Norfolk Broads before, these tips will really help you. Here we go then, in no particular order, the second 10 top tips. Top tip number 1. When you're planning your holiday, check out the waterway codes on the Broads Authority website. This covers important things like safety, which applies to all of us who hire boats on the Broads. It also covers moorings, where to moor and where not to moor. There's a section on bridge heights, and much more. The Broads Authority website also contains information on the history and heritage of the Broads. It should be your go-to resource before you start your holiday and while you're enjoying your break. There's a link to the website in the text below. Top tip number 2. A very useful app to download is the Aweigh App. The Aweigh mobile app is perfect for showing your current location and what's nearby, including mooring spots and their details, places to eat and more. Some of the details are incomplete, but there's a lot of useful information on this app. It includes real-time information on the tides, updated information on any navigation restrictions, waste facilities, where you can moor free of charge, and loads more. Top tip number 3. Pick up a paper copy of the Broadcaster magazine or visit the website. There's a link in the text below. This publication is produced every year by the Broads Authority, and there's a huge amount of information in the Broadcaster magazine, and it's free. A lot of local businesses advertise in the magazine, so you might see something that you didn't know you needed, or a nice looking pub to stop for lunch. Top tip number 4. When you collect your boat, you'll be shown the basics of how to use the controls and how to moor up. It's tempting after that to start up the boat and set off on your first trip. You'll have been given a skipper's manual, and if you aren't sure of anything, pick up the manual and find the answer before you set off. Better to arrive late than have an accident. Top tip number 5. When you're cruising along, it's easy to drift off course. This is true both in straight sections of the rivers and in the twisty sections. If you have a bow rail, one trick is to wind some coloured insulating tape or sticking plaster around the middle of the bow rail. When you're motoring along, you'll see this tape and you'll notice if it starts to drift. You'll react more quickly if you're veering off course. Try it, it'll help you. You might even find that someone has already wound some tape on the bow rail of the boat that you hire. This happened to us the last time we hired a boat on the Broads. Similarly, if you wind a piece of coloured tape around the ship's wheel at the 12 o'clock position, while the boat is pointing straight ahead, you'll be able to see where the wheel needs to be to stay straight on course. I hope you're finding these tips useful. If you are, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks very much. Top tip number 6. At the end of your holiday, you'll need to hand your boat back quite early in the morning, usually by 9 a.m. That's quite early, isn't it? So you need to think about where you're going to moor up on your last night, ideally somewhere close to the boatyard. You don't want to be 3 hours away thinking that you can get up early and arrive in time. You might very well be able to do that. On the other hand, something might go wrong and you'll be panicking that you'll be late handing the boat back. You don't want to end your peaceful holiday by being stressed, so think about your last night. It's best to book your mooring to make sure that there's a space for you when you arrive. Top tip number 7. Are you concerned about the effect that you'll have on the climate if you hire a boat with a big throaty diesel engine? Well, times are changing, and you can now hire electric hybrid boats on the Norfolk Broads. These hybrid boats don't have an engine, they have a bank of batteries which drive the motor. If the batteries require more power, a generator kicks in and powers the drive, giving almost silent cruising. There aren't many of these hybrid cruisers yet, and they get booked up quickly, so if you like the sound of a hybrid boat that doesn't have a diesel engine, then you better get your skates on to book one. Top tip number 8. This builds on one of the top 10 tips in the previous video in this series. In that tip, I said that big isn't always best, but sometimes it can be. If you've got a big family or you're two couples, you should think about how much room you need. Better to pay a bit more money and have a bit more room to allow you to get some peace and quiet if you need it. Bigger boats will have 2 bathrooms and toilets, which is always preferable for a bigger group. Many of the larger boats also have dual steering with a second wheel in the upper sun deck. You get a better view of the world passing by if you hire one of these boats. If there's more than 2 of you who can help with the mooring, then it's worth thinking about a larger boat. Top tip number 9. I recommend that you make at least a rough plan of your itinerary before you come to the Broads. If you don't, you need to be aware of a few things. Firstly, the speed limit on the Broads is between 3 miles an hour and 6 miles an hour, depending where you are. 6 miles an hour isn't very fast, is it? So what looks like a short distance on a map might take longer than you think. Secondly, you need to be aware of the tides when going under some bridges, and especially if you're thinking of crossing Braden Water. Check whether your boat will pass under lower bridges at all, or whether your boat can only go under certain bridges at low tide. Thirdly, moorings are limited, and some places are full well before the end of the day. So if you're just winging it and turning up late, you'll often find yourself mooring against the bank and using your mud weight to anchor. Much easier to plan your route, find a mooring and walk to the pub for dinner. Even if you do plan to eat at the pub every night, I suggest that you keep at least some food on the boat, just in case you can't moor near a pub. Otherwise you'll have a very hungry evening. And last, but certainly not least, top tip number 10. Here's some of the things that you can do and see on the Norfolk Broads, apart from boating. There are several nature reserves to explore. There's the Museum of the Broads at Stalham and several other museums around the Broads. If you're into history and heritage, there's plenty of opportunities to visit interesting sites near to moorings. You could seek out the secret garden. Here's a tip. It's at Howe Hill. There are signposted walks all over the Broads. There's a nice 5-mile circular walk at Aweigh, for example. If you don't fancy walking, you can go on the Bure Valley Railway. This is a delightful narrow gauge steam train that goes between Wroxham and Aylsham, a round trip of 18 miles. Depending on the time of year, you might want to seek out the rare swallowtail butterfly. Mid-May to the end of June are the best times to see this beautiful butterfly. So that's my second 10 top tips for you. If you've got your own tips to add, please share them with us in the comments below. Thanks for watching and happy boating!